Hi everyone, today we have new video review, and as you can see, this time we are going to talk about fresh release from Miniart. This is a kit in 1/35 scale and quite an interesting kit, I would say, because it's a cheese delivery car, so Liefer Pritschenwagen is written here, type 170V in 1/35 scale. It should be quite an interesting build, not only because it copies car and cheese inside, but also because you can combine it with some figurines, or maybe with some diorama bases, or maybe even with some other vehicles. It will be up to you, but the main idea here is this is quite universal, and it might make your project a bit more, I would say, capturing. So here we have a commercial sample. It means that this is the final shape of this release, and you'll get exactly the same stuff as what you'll see in this video review. The kit number is 38046, and we have quite nice box art here. Well, all this cheese slices inside the rear hatch are quite interesting solution, I would say, but of course you don't have to use them all. We will check it further in the video. Box size is typical for the car model from Miniart, so here you can see comparison with my hand. And on the side here we have some safety advices and address of the manufacturer, while on the opposite side you'll find 3 marking options, which are quite colorful in my opinion, so it will be interesting to copy either of those, but we will check it once we will be going through the assembly manual. So this is a top opening box, and here is what we have inside. Just as any other Miniart kit, this one features all the parts are sealed in the plastic bag. We have also assembly manual on the bottom. Of course, we will start with the plastic parts, and then gradually we will continue to add the components such as decals, assembly manual, P parts, and some other useful things which I can see here. Okay, so the bag is opened, and first of all I would like to start with this HD sprue. So maybe here I will have to increase a bit the ISO so that you can see more. So here we have the car panels. As you can see, this is the bottom panel, which is molded together with the wheel fenders, and this is quite good because you won't have to spend extra time trying to align all of this stuff together. And if I zoom in even closer, here you can check all of these features a bit zoomed way. Next we continue with the front panel. So here we have it molded together with the roof, which is also good, but it means that you have to align it with the rear wall, obviously. And here we also have the driver's seat, which is molded or should be assembled out of 2 parts. If I flip it over, here inside you'll find some guiding elements. So the overall design looks well thought through, so the only thing required from you is to carefully combine all these parts together, and I don't think it will be a difficult task, to be honest. But next we continue with cheese parts, and this sounds interesting, to be honest, but all the cheese parts are molded onto sprues. It's a JH sprue, so here we can zoom in so that you can see them closer. They should be glued out of several parts. So for example, this large one will be glued out of 2 halves, and for this we have guiding elements inside, and it will be easier to align these parts between each other, and they're quite large. So here you can see comparison with my fingertip, and that means that maybe you have to see how to resolve the possible gaps between 2 halves. And frankly speaking, I was expecting a one-piece part, but well, we have here slightly different design from what I was expecting, but still it's a quite interesting addition. But as you remember, we also had smaller pieces of cheese, so here they are. They are provided own sprue, which is a JG sprue, and here we actually get them as a one-piece parts. You can see they're just empty inside, and that's pretty much all. And we also get the texture on the necessary cheese types. So I guess this is a good addition. Of course, everything will depend on your painting skills, because it will be also important to replicate the right color of the cheese. And maybe you'll have to search for some reference material for this, who knows. Next, we continue with the I would say that's a combination of several sprues. As you can see, they are two identical sprue combos. It's a sprue D and E. Here we have the plastic road wheels, and each of those should be glued out of several parts, 4 of them. We also have some writings on the tire walls, which is quite cool. And of course we have guiding elements. You can see these cutouts, so they are for the pins, so that you can position all of these, let's say, circular shaped parts all together. Wheel rims, they are molded separately, what should make it easier to paint them into proper color. In my opinion, this is quite a smart design. And on the other sprue we have some parts for the seats, but as far as I can guess, this will not be used in today's version because they are more suitable for the saloon version of this car. And here we are dealing with the truck version, if we can say so. Next we continue with boxes. So here we have a sprue JC. This one carries parts for the wooden boxes. Each of those should be glued out of 3 parts as far as I can see, so the side walls are molded separately. And here is what we have inside. Obviously there is no wooden texture whatsoever, but I think it's still possible to replicate a convincing finish here. Next we continue with the sprue A. So this one is actually designed for this civilian version with the 2 rows for the drivers and for the passengers. Here you can also see some parts for the engine compartment. Also we have dashboard, we have this main chassis, and I guess this one will be used anyway. And also we have the front grille, which should be combined with the PE parts, and by the way those are bumpers. So as I said before, this 4 panel will not be used because we are dealing with a truck here, and it will stay in your spare parts boxes. And note that the bonnet panels are molded separately, so it means maybe you can open them. And here on the opposite side you can see also some features on the bottom panel. Also we have some nice surface on the steering wheel, on the radiator, and also on the bonnet panels as well. So everything looks great in my opinion. Next we have panels for the rear section of this pickup. So if I zoom in, this sprue HB actually brings us this wooden panels, I guess, and also these side panels are metal ones. It's a stamped metal, and I really like the surface details here. Maybe it would be a wise idea to play with some weathering, because obviously this section will not be brand new, let's say, looking. And here you can see the parts from the opposite side. So again, the molding quality looks great, and all attachment points are quite thin, so there shouldn't be any issues with separating these parts. Next we continue with the sprue C and B. So these 2 are the last ones, and here we have all the parts for the drivetrain. We also have the separate doors. Again, we will need only the front doors because rear doors are not necessary here or not used. We also have the engine block parts here together with the gearbox, and a lot of small thin parts. So be ready to work with this. I guess tweezers will be a must-have here, otherwise it will be really tricky to apply them with bare fingers. I know some modelers still try to do so, but believe me, these parts will be lost to the carpet monster in no time. And then it's really difficult to repair or replace these elements, even though some of the engine compartment I would say elements or things, they can be replaced with a metal wire if you would like to, but obviously it will require some skill because it's not that easy thing to do. And now you can hear I am trying to open the plastic bag with decals and clear sprue, and I'm not that successful in this because it looks like it was sealed in a bit diagonal angle, and that's why it's not easy to tear apart. Nevertheless, I had scissors by my side, so it's open now. Here we have clear parts for the front cap. Obviously the rear sections will not be needed because we are not copying the saloon version of this car, but again, molding quality looks really great and I have no complaints here. Keep in mind that Miniart does not include any masks for the clear parts, so if you would like to get a nice paintwork, you have to cut your own stickers or maybe use the thin brush in order to replicate the chrome sections. Next, here we have decals. So they are coming from cartograph. That's why you shouldn't be worried about any printing quality issues. Here you can take a closer look. Everything looks really good. We also have some interior decals as far as you can see, or not. No, those are not dials, which is rather surprising because previous kits, they actually featured the dials as well, but here we have only the number plates and also have these large circular decals for cheese. And as you can see, we have several types and exactly the same types which are depicted on the box art. Next, we continue with a small envelope. Here we have PE parts. And they are, I would say, somewhat important for this vehicle because, as you can see, a lot of notable and visible elements, they are replicated with this PE part, so it will be necessary to carefully install them on your car. I can see even the steering wheel will get own portion of PE parts, and of course the front grille, it's also good. Usually Miniart parts are quite nice, so it's just a matter of careful installation onto the necessary spots. Next, we continue with assembly manual. Here I have to close the lenses and zoom out a bit. So this is a typical Miniart brochure. We have a short list of the features. They do not write the parts count anymore, by the way. And here we continue with the first two marking options. I would rather replicate this one with a white wall tire, but it's your choice. Maybe you would like to copy the same vehicle which is on the box art. Next, we continue with the parts map. Note that Miniart does not show unused parts on the parts map. That's why you have to pay attention on what is installed in your car. And assembly process starts with an engine. So here, as you can see, straight away we are working with some PE parts. Be ready for that. And of course, it might be a good idea to think through how you will be painting all this stuff, because as you can see, we're working with the main chassis, also with the exhaust. Maybe some weathering on the exhaust would be also good. Again, exhaust is held in place with help of PE parts. Then we continue with the bottom plate, which is used for the pickup version. Also fuel tank gets in place. Here we continue with the firewall. Then we install the dashboard. And here we have the steering wheel together with PE parts. Again, really tiny PE parts. Road wheels getting assembled, each one out of even 6 parts, because we have the wheel rim and we also have this cap for the wheel. And next we continue with the rear section assembly. We also assemble the radiator grille. As you can see, it will be a matter of using PE parts even for the Mercedes sign on the top. And next we have a choice between open and closed bonnet versions of this vehicle, which is rather cool. In this scale, it might be a good opportunity to replicate some interesting scene. Next, we can also open the front doors, obviously, and I think the same can be done with the rear hatch, but it will require some modifications in order to have locks in place. Here we have the third marking option, and then we have various cheese marking options so that you can replicate your own famous or favorite type which you would like to see in your vehicle. So overall, this is quite interesting release. I wouldn't say it's combo release, but still we get cheese in the same package, so maybe it's a combo in 1/35 scale. Of course, I'll be happy to hear your opinion about this model. Do not forget to write it here in the comment section below, and if you like this video, press the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and bye.